Well, so now that the legs are out of the way, it's time to move on to the torso of the Astray. I'm going to start with the lower abdomen, waist, hip area, which has a metal strut as part of the linkage, which joins the two legs, which functions both as, because it's very sturdy, so you know there's no risk of the part breaking, and you know your model essentially being worthless because it's got a broken hip. So quick update here. You can see the frame for the waist assembly is put together. Not much to it. Just two main halves, central part, the little die-cast metal spar, a few poly caps, and the mounting for all of the skirt armor parts, which actually are ball jointed at the front and can articulate in and of themselves to offer better coverage of the legs and hips. Another interesting feature that Bandai included with this design is the die-cast metal hip assembly is actually articulated. Now let's just see. It's got this little latch here on the front, which can disengage and allow the whole thing to swing back and forth, and it will lock in place at either end. The idea for this being that rather than having a static hip joint, since a mobile suit can't really shift its weight, meaning that it can't really adjust the way that its hips would be mounted if it was a solid mount like this, then it can simply hinge this forward and get into like a kneeling pose or something like that. It's an interesting idea, but I'm not overly fond of it. I generally just leave it in the standard rearward position, because it's just one more part that can get loose, or one more thing to worry about that you really don't have to. And there is the completed waist piece. Much to my surprise, it still has a mount latch for a beam rifle, so that's pretty cool. Not much else to say. The little tail spur here is jointed, so it'll move a little bit. The skirt armors likewise are all jointed, so they can adjust and shift around a little bit. The only real interesting thing to speak of is the mounting for the Gerbera straight katana, which the side armor actually opens up, and there's a little peg mounting in there. So when they close up, it's nice and, well, it's closed, and when it's open, you can attach the sword with no problem. So it's a neat little design. So the torso here is starting to come together. All that's really left is just to add the armor, and it'll be and the backpack, and it'll basically be finished. It's fairly well articulated. The shoulder pegs here can shift back and forth as well as up and down, a pretty significant degree. It has where it attaches to the midsection, it has a swivel, but also it can tilt from side to side as well as from front to back. The cockpit can open, and in fact the hatch slides out a little bit and then opens up, and the seat you can see underneath with the pilot in it slides out along the rail to allow the pilot to exit. And the little view screen, I don't know if you can actually see it in here, moves out of the way as the seat slides forward. Same basic design as with the Strike, but I don't know if this actually uses any of the same parts, or if it's all original. I can't really tell. It's been a while since I built one of those. But very well detailed. Lots of mechanical odds and ends. simulated pistons in there, you can see them, and more also in the shoulder. It's a really nice design. I'm really liking it so far, and I can't wait to get the armor on it. So yeah, stay watching for that. And there is the completed torso with backpack. It's a good-looking unit. I'm really digging it. Here, the backpack. I've never really understood why it was designed to do this, but much like the high grade and pretty much every other version of the Astray ever made, the backpack can separate from the back and hinge down to rest against the lower abdomen. Why it does that, I don't know, but I mean, it does let you show off the back here. These are the beam saber sockets. I haven't assembled the beam sabers yet, but they'll just mount in there like any normal beam sabers. Not much else to say. The articulation remains the same. You know, the shoulders can still articulate and the torso still articulate. There's an extra little panel here that I thought was pretty cool. You have to flip that down before you can slide out the cockpit or the hatch. So it's a neat little extra touch. Kind of functions as a latch for the cockpit door. Apart from that, yeah, like I said, there's not really much else to say. Next we'll be getting on to the head, which has one of the primary gimmicks of this kit being the same gimmick every perfect grade kit has ever had, is light up eyes. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that next. Well, it's really starting to come together now. The head is finished. The head contains one of the primary gimmicks of the Astray. Same gimmick, in fact, shared with all the perfect grade kits. It has light up eyes. Unfortunately, I don't have any batteries that fit it right now. It takes a very specific size of button cell battery, and I just don't happen to have any lying around. So that's going to have to wait. But the way that the eyes work is here. I'll just pop off these little panels on the back, and I'm going to need something to pry this out with. There we go. The lighting unit here is one completely self-contained little gadget. Has a battery case, switch, and the wiring and the LED built right into it, and it just slides directly into a slot in the back of the head, like so, and is covered up with a couple of detail parts. And because I'm a damn klutz, I dropped them again. Butterfingers. Anyway. So, yeah. There it goes. Back together. You can see it has the clear sensors on the forehead and on the back of the head for camera and sensor data. Clear eyes, likewise, like I said, which light up. Otherwise, it's a fairly standard head. Though for some reason I don't really get why. It's got these little clear parts on either side of the vents, like the intake vents on the side of the head. I don't know why, and they look kind of weird. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I may paint them white or leave them off, or I may leave them as is. I haven't decided yet, but whatever. Well, there you can see now the head is attached to the torso. Has a fairly significant range of motion. You can see it can tilt back and forth pretty significantly. It's the joint the head is mounted on is hinged, as well as it's a ball joint. So the head has a fairly significant range of motion in every direction. Can turn from side to side fairly significantly. Can look up, can look down, and overall, it's a fairly solid design. So yeah, that's basically it for the physical structure of the Astray. Next up will be the arms, which will be in the next video, and then following that will be the weapons. So another couple days, everything will be finished. So stay tuned.